G'day everyone. This is take two because the stupid battery went flat and I refused to stuff around with an editing program. Got working on this rover edger again. I noticed there's actually a bolt there that someone screwed the thread on probably the mower shop that worked on it last. Because it's got no thread at all. Someone's just over tightened it by the look of it. I only just noticed it was sticking out like that. So anyway, replacing the seal. Okay, I've got the new seal. Where did I put it? Here it is on the bench. A clean bit of paper. This is the new seal. The reason why old seals fail is, if I just put it on this white piece of paper, you can see that the new seal, you may not be able to see that, but the new seal, the internal diameter there is slightly less than the old one. And the reason is the old one's just gone hard and it's collapsed slightly. So that's the back side of the seal. It's not a spring-loaded seal. This is just a neoprene seal that relies on the rubber thickness, tension to hold it against the crank. Now, one reason why seals can fail is, and this could be partially the reason why, but I'd say the seal's just gone hard and it's old. But when the crank gets a bit rusty around the seal lip, it'll tend to tear the seal up when you run the motor. So that'll definitely screw the seal. So when you go to put the new seal in, get some sandpaper. I used P120 grit sandpaper. This is what I used here. It's not sandpaper, it's a material backing, so it's like emery cloth kind of thing. But anyway, you fold up the sandpaper like that, stick it between the crank and the crankcase, and very carefully clean the crank. You're not aiming to remove any material at all, because if you do, it definitely won't seal ever again. You're aiming just to clean it up. So you just want to clean the crap off it. Now after you've finished, hold the stupid camera still. After you've finished, what you want to do is get out an air compressor and some WD-40, or we got a can of this stuff. It's just Retco water dispersant, which is kerosene plus a bit of light oil of some sort. Spray the kerosene-based spray in there and give it a blast out with compressed air. If you're very careful and you don't have an air compressor, you can clean it out with the spray only, but you've got to make sure you've got no grit left in there, because it'll destroy the seal and the bearing. So this engine, like a lot of Briggs & Stratton engines, doesn't have a bearing you can replace, so you'd be in a bit of trouble if you had to. So anyway, you've cleaned the crankshaft very carefully with some fine sandpaper. And by fine, I don't mean 40 grit or something completely ridiculous. If your sandpaper looks like it's got gravel glued on the surface, it's too coarse. I haven't bothered really cleaning where that's just where the pulley sits, the clean bit, and the rusty bit's where there's nothing there, because this is a wasted shaft, so it's not going to damage the seal. So anyway, cleanliness is the most important rule with a seal when you're putting a new one in. The other most important rule is lubricating the seal with some grease so it doesn't burn out before the oil can get to it. I can't overemphasize the importance of a small amount of grease on the seal. Don't want to be pumping heaps of grease in it, just a little bit of grease. Once the engine fires up and runs for a little bit, it'll lubricate the seal with engine oil. So anyway, I've got the grease gun here. Now, clean the end of the grease gun before you use it. So wipe it all down with a rag. You don't want to use a rag that's going to leave a lot of lint on it, because it's going to end up in whatever you're lubricating. Then do what I've done is I pumped out some grease and wiped it off, and this is just grease it off, pumped out again. So I hope I didn't get that on the camera now. So anyway, you've got your grease here. Got a clean finger, and you want to just push some grease into the back of the seal lip. Again, you're not after a titanic amount of grease. You're just trying to lubricate the seal, and it doesn't hurt having a bit of extra in that seal lip. I have to pump the stupid grease gun again. It's going to be a fairly long video, because I'm going to actually demonstrate how to do this. So like I said, you don't want to be using tons of grease. Some engine assembly lube's probably better than this because it's got molybdenum disulfide in it. Not necessary for what we're doing, it's just a seal. Stupid blowfly in my arm, and it's only spring, it's not even summer yet. So it's a bit messy, but all I've done is stupid, I didn't realise that wasn't within the camera's range. Anyway, I've just given it a coat of grease. You can see it's quite covered in grease. Get a clean bit of tissue, like what I like using is toilet paper. Also it doesn't hurt to give the outside of this a bit of grease, but no point in putting you know, lots of what's the name on the seal, like Celastic or anything. It's not going to make it seal any better, I don't think, unless what you're putting the seal in is a piece of shit and someone's damaged the casting. But this machine's pristine, it's never had a seal done before. So okay, now carefully slide the seal on. Don't let it scrape on the crank too much. Now you want to start the seal lip over the crankshaft. Now I'll just get rid of all the excess grease off my hand and off the crankshaft. Now, if this looks like I don't know what I'm doing because of the way I'm hitting the seal in, cameras and engines are quite a tricky thing to master at once. So naturally enough, it's very hard for the camera. So it's alright. I'll really what you need is a piece of pipe, because these don't want to hit in very evenly sometimes. So just tap it very. Yeah, son of a bitch! It's not gonna play the game. It will eventually. Don't damage the seal. If you damage it, it will not seal in a million years, and you'll have to go and pull the engine apart again. So you're aiming to hit the seal in evenly and gently, and son of a bitch keeps rocking back out again. This is where I need a stupid tripod. So just tap it in gently. Ah, piece of crap. Okay, this is one thing, you really need a tubular punch or something to just gently drive it home, because the seal tends to want to rock out. Big seals, it's kind of less of a problem, I tend to find, but just gently drop the little short extension I'm using on the ground. Trying to push it. Yeah, damn thing. They are a tight fit. Don't get impatient, take your time, because if you get impatient, you'll damage it and it won't seal. So take your time, and just take your time with it. Don't be impatient. If you bend the seal or damage the seal lip, it's not going to seal. So then you'll be sad because you'll waste time and money, and no one likes wasting that. Yeah, it's just going to rock out on me. Damn thing. And just don't damage the crankshaft either. Yeah, you've got to just apply a bit of. Okay, so hit the seal in evenly and gently. Do not damage the crankshaft. If you dent the crankshaft, it's not going to seal in a million years, and you'll have to replace the unit. So gently tap it in all the way. Make sure the seal's all the way home. It'll only go so far and bottom out, so it's not a test of strength. Lots of gentle tapping is a lot better than flogging the Christ out of it, because it's not going to like it. So apologies for using language that's not very good, but oh well. So yeah, just got to find a punch. Gently tap it in. Make sure it's all the way home. That's pretty much it. So the seal's in evenly. See, it's sitting just back. So just feel with your thumb to make sure it's all the way in. The bottom of that could go in a little bit further. So just very, very carefully. I reckon that's it. These seals like to shed a bit of rubber from around the edges of it. It's when you tap it in, they have a bit of rubber on the outside of the seal, and when you tap it in, it'll tend to come off. Now, future-proof it a little bit. What I like to do is just wipe a bit of grease in there. Just keeps the crankshaft nicely. Get a clean piece of tissue and just wipe off the excess. Getting water near things like this, not a very good idea. So when you clean it, a lot of advice I like to give about these kind of things, or the best piece of advice I should say, just forget it. Don't use water on it. Pressure clean it once a year and put it out in the sun to dry off, or start it up, get it hot, then pressure clean it, because it'll damage it. It'll end up rusty. So that's how you replace a seal in a Briggs & Stratton motor. You'll also notice that the ball where the seal goes in's got a slight taper around the edge. That's to assist with the seal going in. If the taper wasn't there, it'd be a massive pain in the ass. But yeah, you can use a little punch like I did. But when you've not got a camera in your hand and you've got something to sort of press on the seal and hold the punch at the same time, they just go straight in. It's only because of the stupid camera. So anyway, pretty much this thing's ready for the pulley to go back on. It's not a very exciting time. Try not to damage the key too much when you're pulling the pulley off. Now my stupid puller had marked it a little bit, but it's not going to make any functional difference. You can, it's a long key anyway, but that mark there, by the way, is from the grub screw on the pulley, so you don't need to put it back in the exact way it came out, just as long as it fits in properly and snugly. Okay. Pulley does look a bit worn, but I would say it's not that worn. It's just the way the pulley's designed. If the pulley's, it'll be right anyway. Now, that's pretty much it. I'm not sure how far that's supposed to go on. Further than that's probably been put on the wrong bloody way. That'd be right. I have to pull that out, and anyway, the pulley goes on the other way. I could tap it on further, but if you look, the V-bell of the line, it's not quite right, so I'll just simply use the puller, pull the pulley off and flip it around and put it back on the correct way. I'm sure you guys are not interested in watching me do that. The other thing is bearings have definitely had it, so that would create a hell of a lot of noise. So I've got to do the top crank seal yet, and the mower guy tells me that it's the same part number as the seal I just put in, so I've told him to order one in. So yeah, it's a great old machine, and this thing will last forever and a day. Just follow the advice and you'll be fine. Not that hard to do stuff like this, and a lot better than paying a mower man $50 or $100 to do it, whatever they charge. Have a go yourself. You can't go wrong. Anyway, have a nice day.